Hi there. Have you ever experienced anxiety? As much as anxiety can be troublesome, and it really can, anxiety is actually a neutral state. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just anxiety. In fact, anxiety can serve us like a smoke alarm. It can help us know when there's trouble. It helps us know when to bail from a situation. Some people have anxiety about finances, and it actually moves them forward to earn more money or to take action. However, anxiety can become a problem when it is too overwhelming and in the wrong context. You see, when you have anxiety and it drives you to go and make a positive change for your life, that's okay. But when anxiety is stopping you from living the life you deserve, when anxiety is stopping you from going out to a shopping center or relaxing in a public place, or perhaps talking to the opposite sex, in that kind of situation, that's obviously not pleasant. And it can be overwhelming, can become chronic, and it can even be labeled as an anxiety disorder. If you're having an anxiety disorder and it's stopping you from living your life or getting on a plane, that's a serious problem. And things can change, and things can actually change a lot faster than people recognize. NLP, or neuro-linguistic programming, provides a variety of approaches, processes, and techniques that can rapidly change anxiety for someone forever. Just a little example, an NLP approach could be bringing curiosity towards anxiety, or perhaps softness and tenderness. Another NLP approach could be looking at someone else that has successfully gotten over their anxiety disorder and replicating their process with someone else. Then there are more specific NLP processes and techniques, such as using hypnosis, what we might call the end-step or reframing techniques, or somatic coaching, somatic trance. There's a lot of processes we can use to get someone over it quite fast. Some of these processes and techniques are so powerful and so efficient that they've been used in other areas of life, such as by car salesmen and by desperate men trying to pick up women. So for that reason, sometimes NLP is considered bad, as manipulative. But communication itself is manipulative. I'm manipulating air right now as I speak. You manipulate a knife and fork as you eat. A hammer is really good for manipulating certain objects. And we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater. Just because NLP is powerful doesn't mean we should ignore it. It means it's got to be used carefully, delicately, with balance, and good ecology in mind. That means that we've got to be careful with what we do. So if using neuro-linguistic programming, we've got to make sure we do it with people that are well trained and coming from a good space. We wouldn't want to be doing NLP with someone we just met down the street or from a nightclub. So it is a known fact that neuro-linguistic programming is powerful and effective. If it wasn't powerful, effective, and it wasn't work, there wouldn't be anything going on. It would have gone away, it would have disappeared. Neuro-linguistic programming represents the biggest and most powerful approaches, processes, and techniques for clearing up anxiety disorders, depression, fears, moving people towards goals, and a whole pile more. Now, just want to share with you one of my go-to processes for anxiety. Now, a lot of people that have anxiety have an internal dialogue or a little voice. In fact, a lot of other people have this as well. A little voice that says, "You're not good enough," or "They're going to look at you badly," or "They're judging." A lot of people have this kind of internal dialogue, this bad voice. So one of my favorite processes is working with this voice. Could you imagine if you were walking down the street and you have this voice saying bad things about you? Or this voice maybe just down the back, right near your neck, breathing down your neck, right? So one of my favorite processes is to get this internal voice, and what we do is we slowly move it around just a little bit more. And what I have my clients recognize, with a bit of work, perhaps a little bit of hypnosis, we start to move the internal dialogue around. Or we might move that internal voice down, lower, change the volume, and perhaps even turn that voice into a little squeaky Mickey Mouse voice. And suddenly, so now the person's walking down the street, and instead of having this inner dialogue breathing down their neck, they have a little Mickey Mouse voice. For some people, we actually change this internal dialogue so that instead of criticizing, this internal dialogue actually supports you. So you could imagine walking down the street or in a public place and having a little voice saying, they're out to get you, compared to having a little voice saying, you can do this. You've got this. Go for it, man. You're good enough. Changing that internal dialogue changes not just the person's approach when they get in situations that used to cause anxiety, but that change changes someone's life forever. And I can tell you, I've done it maybe 100 times, and every person has told me 1-2 weeks, 1-2 months later, it has changed their life forever. And we can do that in maybe 30 minutes. Neuro-linguistic programming is powerful. You should check out what we do, and I think you should call us for a chat. Would you like to know more? Would you like to speak to one of our team? Come join us. Thank you for your time. Hi there, Adrian here, and this is a video from a Zoom session that we do. We do these Zoom sessions every Sunday, and we take questions and answers from the audience. Some of our students, some of our members. We never know what questions are coming up, so I'm always excited to do these sessions, and I hope to see you at one of them. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and check out the other playlists that we have. Thank you. Enjoy.
Now, there's this quote that I came across today that I so much love, and one of the reasons why I love it because it has a lot to do with what we do here as NLP, as NLP practitioners. And it says that anxiety is something that is a part of me, but is not who I am. Anxiety is something that is a part of you, but it's not who you are. Emma Stone. Now, today, we have my good friend here, Darko, and I'm not gonna say the last name because he'll have to correct me all the time, and he'll tell you how to pronounce his last name. However, tonight Darko is going to be presenting on dealing with anxiety the NLP way, and I must say NLP has been one of the biggest support system in my toolkit as a coach when it comes to supporting my client with this feeling of anxiety or performance anxiety and really showing up and being their best. So I know that what Darko is about to share with you today is going to be very valuable to you and the clients that you serve as well. So without any further ado, the floor is now over to you, Darko.
Okay. Thank you for such wonderful introduction. So I'm trying to think how to start my presentation. I was thinking today to first start by introducing myself. I have to say that I finally complete my training process. I become a Gestalt therapist now. So
congratulations.
Yes. Okay. So it gives graphics dependence from performance to and anxiety. So as I said, if we have a low anxiety, it's also connected with low performance. So as anxiety raise, in some situations we can give more and more performance. I can share about today's session. So I felt prepared for this webinar when I was preparing. I was anxious, but it is felt anxious because if there was not present anxiety, I will not be prepared that much. I will not research, not finding ways to share what I need to share. So it will it will increase my performance, but it is as we can see from the diagram, it is good up to some level, after which if anxiety becomes too strong, as on diagram, then we are not doing well, because our tension, which comes from anxiety, is too big. We cannot cope with the situation, and then we can go into some other behavior. Maybe we can do some procrastination. Maybe we can do some use some addiction, starting to worrying, and instead of using time to improve our performance, we are going more into the delaying, and that means that our performance going down, which means in the high, if we have high anxiety, then it can have low performance. This is what this graphic says. So yes, I want to now I'm focusing on anxiety disorder, which means that if we have a lot of anxiety, what kind of which influence on our performance, which are usual symptoms we can see when we are working with client. So we can see in the client some physical symptoms, which can be heart rate, increased heart rate, changing on the color on the skin. Maybe the client will more sweating. It's maybe he will have excessive exaggerate movements, trying to show some his excitement, his arousal, which is unnecessary. Then we have some cognitive symptoms, which means that it influences on our thoughts. We have racing thoughts all over. Then we are worrying a lot about things that are not happening. That is not, but we are worrying and we are not productive. It not influence well on our day-to-day activities. Then we have emotional symptoms. Like I said, it is tension. We feel a lot of tension on the body. We try to escape the task we need to do. Then there is some behavioral symptoms which can be like obsessive compulsive disorder. So we are trying to do things repeatedly as a way to escape. This is the ways of how not to face with the situation which is anxious, which may cause some discomfort, but we are not willing to face with the situation, but rather we are going choosing to do something else. And of course, there is anxiety can influence on it can make sleep disturbances. So I have clients who are facing with insomnia. So the disturbances in sleeping, maybe sometimes there are people who are having nightmares, and which is caused as a way of escaping the situation. Does anyone want to add or share something regarding the symptoms of anxiety, which I have not covered here, but we can see?
Can I say something?
Yes.
Darko, yeah, I'm not very clear about the distinguish the differences in between worry and nervousness. To me, I really can't tell the differences.
Mm.
When I feel worried, I feel nervous. I mean, nervous is worry, right?
Yes, but nervousness, it is a feeling. But worry, it is a thought. There is a difference. I'm thinking and I'm worrying. If I'm not worrying, I will not be nervous. And most of the time, especially when we are younger, we are living our life unconsciously. So even though we are feeling some of these symptoms, we are not aware about this, and we can say, oh, this is a part of life. This is how it needs to be. and we are doing the things, it causes low productivity. It causes us make us nervous. And this is how we are learning. And after that, when we are widening, increasing our awareness, then we become more aware about the symptoms, about the anxiety as a process, and what we can do in this. Okay, so next slide talks about reasons for anxiety. There are we are saying, yes, I'm anxious, but what is the reason? How I become anxious? One of the reasons is genetic. So it could be to go to go into the family. It's a genetic process, and it is coming to next generations. Then next thing is life experience. There are many life experiences. It could be I had traumatic events, but also there is when many times we are facing with uncertain situation, this could cause some anxiety, because anxiety is directly connected with uncertainty. When we are not prepared to something. So this is a huge thing, traumatic events, and we need to be aware when we are talking about traumatic events, because I'm also studying trauma, that it is also a part of the life. It is traumatic event. It is changing our life for sure, because it is happening. But we have went through the traumatic event, and we need to accept as it is not our willingness to have this event, but we need to accept as a part of our life and continue move forward. So it is easy to say, but it is really hard to achieve. But it is possible. I learned that it is possible through my experience, and once we become aware that going over traumatic events, it is much easier. But this can cause anxiety, because also our thinking process is changing. We are anxious what the other people will say, but how will I behave? It makes a lot of anxiety, which influence on day-to-day activities. The other thing which can cause anxiety is chronic stress. This is especially important in today's world, because we are constantly experience some kind of stress, because it could be through, because now these informations are going very fast. So it can, we are very how to exposed to different situations, to different kinds of people. Everything is changing. So if we are exposed to long-term stress, it could evoke anxiety, and also this influence on our life. Then substance use, such as drugs, such as alcohol. So these are substances, are elements which are influencing on our biochemistry, and sometimes if we are using, the word was not overusing, but if we use a lot alcohol, we can become addicted, and we can, let's say, if there is no alcohol, or if we miss something, then we become anxious, and we behave acting in order to satisfy that need. And there are also some personality traits like perfectionism. If we want to make things to be perfect, then we are always checking, is this good, is this not good? What will I say? What will I not say? It must be perfect. And we are, again, it is going our thinking process, what the other will say, how will I behave, and it makes a lot of anxiety within us. This can be one way, on one side, it could be good, because perfectionism can help us to invest more into completing some tasks, but also it could be negative if we are, they're saying analysis paralysis. If we are too much time if we spend into this, satisfying this need for perfectionism. And also negative thinking, it is also a personal trait. So we are not able, not willing to see positive things, but we are only seeing one side of the box, to say, on one side of situation. But if you know this, even though this sign of yin yang, it shows that in every situation there is good and there is a bad thing. So when we going to increase this way of seeing the things, it is different. So in NLP, when we are learning, Adrian always ask us what is positive in this situation. So trying to see, it is negative. Yes, it is negative, but what was the positive intention? Why we are acting like this, and what benefits we are giving when we are seeing only negative. Maybe we can see negative, and then we are not willing to start even to try something to do. Okay, so what I shared this, but to repeat, what kind of feeling when we feel when we are feeling anxious, we are somehow we are squeezed. At least that is my feeling. I'm not squeezed. I'm hiding. So I feel a lot of unease, worry, or fear. So we are not able to move. Very common feeling is panic. So we are panicking. I need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do that, and it makes us nervous also. Then it's a shared avoidance to do something else. So we are avoiding to do the things. Maybe we are choosing to do something else. Let's say, if I share my case, I tend to read. So instead of be focused on some important thing, maybe I will tend to read, which is intentionally avoiding doing something else. Or maybe we'll say now it's time to go into the relaxation. It is also useful part, but we are avoiding what is important at that moment. Then we have some physical sensations, like I say, sweating, heartbeat, maybe some movement with the hand, some tics, maybe to make us feel more, which are not appropriate, but it is signs of anxiety. And then we feel emotional tension. We are talking about new strategies, so let's see about new strategies. In my case, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, helps a lot. In my life, it completely changed my perspective of viewing the things, and how I'm running the life, how I understand, and not to be too much hard on myself. But I also learned that I need time to give to myself, not to push all the time myself. So some of definition is of NLP, phenomenological study of subjective experience. That means that during the NLP process, we are learning phenomenological means its philosophical approach is what is happening, what is occurring in this moment. We can influence on the moment, but sometimes it is happening. What is happening? We cannot change it. And subjective experience, it means that the whole process is when working and learning NLP, it is about subjective, what we are experiencing at this moment. And that is what we are analyzing, exploring, and doing exercise on what is happening at this moment. It is also a good philosophy of setting goals and achieving desired outcomes. So always when I'm sitting, for example, with a client, or we working in NLP exercise, we are talking what we want to achieve. What is your goal? So as a approach, NLP is mostly focused on the present moment and on the future. What is the outcome? Then going back like other therapies. This is for personal development, but therapy focuses on the past, which does not mean that NLP is not focused. But if the client does not want to bring something from the past, then we're slipping to the present moment and to the future. NLP is a tool that delivers transformation and change. As I have met up to now many people who are, and we have in our training, we have trained over 100 students. And I want to share that I have not met someone who has completed NLP and he not experienced some kind of change. That was also a part of my journey. When I was learning NLP, 2015, I started experience changing the environment so that I'm making changes, but I was not able to explain what is happening, and that's how I further fires my curiosity and go deeper and deeper to explore about NLP. So people who are completing NLP are experiencing transformation. And the next thing is that we consciously influence of unconscious mind. So the NLP partner or coach, he what are you aware at the moment? And starting from there, the NLP coach can guide you to explore more and more and going into the unconscious part of our mind. I will share more in the next slides. So this is definitions of NLP. As I said, a key concept of NLP is what is happening now, what is our present moment, which means what we thought, what we feel, what is our physiology at this moment, physiology, how we are moving. Then what is our desire state? For example, at this moment, I have negative thoughts, but in the future, my desire state is to change my way of thinking, to change my way of feeling and my way of behavior. This is my desired state. And then we are guiding the client what resources does it need to have when analyzing resources, and we define that he needs to change the career, that he needs to change maybe the information he's reading, maybe he needs some training, but the client is guided to find out on his own way how to deal with the situation and then to go to the desired state. Okay, that was about basics of NLP. And now I can say that in neurolinguistic programming, there is a set of techniques or models which we can use and into going to explore our subjective experience. Now we are talking on the topic on anxiety. So we need to explore our anxiety. We need to see what is happening, how it is happening. Is there some trigger? And we are going to guide the client to find its own solution, how he can cope with the anxiety. Okay, so one of the things is NLP timeline. So we presuppose that during the time we are our events we are facing, it is cause our emotions, and that emotions, they are stored into our unconscious mind, and these emotions, these situations cause our behavior, current behavior. Of course, if we have in our memory, if there is more negative situation, they will cause more negative behavior at this moment, more anxiety. What we are trying to do with during the NLP process is to discover these negative emotions, to see from a different perspective, to find what is positive solution, positive intention behind this, and then to make some reframing and to continue and move toward the process. For sure, with NLP, when we are doing neuro-linguistic programming and when we are doing exercises, our memory gets filled. There will be happening more pleasant moments. For example, if up to before NLP, I had all negative experiences and that kind of mindset. After that, after completing NLP, it starts going, I'm doing this, everything goes in positive way. So eventually, positive things will cover the negative things. So also timelines can be seen from the past, from this moment, from now. We can look in the past to see what was the first event when anxiety comes or something happened. We are analyzing this event, but also we can go into from now to see our timeline in the future. What we can predict, how we can move. It is only a prediction. We cannot be sure that the things will happen like we are planning, but the thing is to have intention and to move to the future. Adrian, do you want something to add?
Yeah. Can I just add, what you were just sharing isn't a band-aid. The thing you were just sharing can like completely eliminate the roots of anxiety. So some of the NLP is great for dealing with it, but some of these things that you've showed, like the timeline there, Gestalt, and what you're about to show, maybe this can completely get rid of the roots or completely transform the way people face anxiety forever, can't it?
Yes. I want to share, usually when I work with client and he comes with anxiety, and when I'm going to ask the roots from the anxiety, and maybe he can share, oh, at that time happened this to me, and I think that this is my behavior, and he's doing this behavior unconsciously. But currently there is not trait. While I'm talking, it comes from Richard Bandler. He is one of the creators of NLP. So, for example, when we were young, we are moving through the river, to the bridge of the river, and we fell. And in 1 minute, we are creating fear of going through the bridge on the river. And now we have 40 years that it was happened at 10 years. we have 40 years and we are avoiding the bridges because of that fear which creates in 1 minute. And it causes anxiety. We are not moving. We are constantly avoiding things. Even though when we most need it to do something, we are not doing it. Maybe it is something important in our career or in our life. We need to go to cross that bridge, but not. We are thinking that the situations are same. But now, let's say now I'm 40 years when I'm talking with someone. He is 40 years now. He knows to swim. He knows to. He's moving differently. He has done a lot of things, but still he have his behavior which happened in 10 years. So it can take 1 or 2 sessions just to explore more and make a difference between then and now, and become aware that now he's more stronger. He have more resources, how to move, how to move. It is really it is happening. This is from real examples, from real.
And although it's largely NLP, it's also the practitioner or the person with you. Because if you're doing NLP for anxiety with a skilled practitioner, they can switch between techniques and methodologies, and they can have a whole pile of approaches inside of there. In Australia, we got a lot of people that use NLP, but they don't really understand it. They think NLP is a process, so they try one process and it doesn't work, and sometimes they throw the baby out with the bathwater. But anyone that says they've done NLP, that they haven't finished it, it's a subjective study.
Yes.
So I like
Yes.
that you are presenting a whole variety of solutions here. Thanks, man.
Yes, that's why I shared at the beginning. It caused curiosity, and I saw all my path, all my certifications, going to understand NLP, not just to go to one course, few months. Okay. Other solution is part integration. So it is in psychology world. It is obvious that our personality, our whole personality is consists of a few parts. We can see it since Freudian psychology. He is saying that there is an ego, superego, and I in it, unconscious, which is forming the whole personality. Also, there is transactional analysis, parent, adult, and child. So our personality is consists of different parts. What I have learned as a Gestalt therapist is that our personality is constantly splitting. It is splitting. It is creating new parts. It is making alignment, structuring, restructuring, everything in order to become the whole personality. So in NLP, we are using these parts, and let's say with the anxiety, because this is the topic, we are not saying I'm anxious. We are saying there is a part of myself which is anxious, and we are analyzing this one part of ourselves which is anxious, because within us there is a part which is relaxed. There is a part which wants to push, to be extrovert, be introvert, different parts. And we are in the NLP, we are focused, let's say, for that part of ourselves which is anxious. So we can there is the coach can guide you to give the name of that part, which is how this part is called, and then we are analyzing, like I said before, what is the positive intention, because anxiety can have positive intentions. Does it need to be present now? Does it, if I go back to the example I said during the going through the bridge of the river, it happens, it causes anxiety. Maybe first 2 or 3 years, it has positive intention to protect ourselves. But now this behavior which was created at that time is not very is not useful, because our personality has changed, but we are still caring. So that is why we are focusing only on one part and analyzing one part. When we are, I missed the word now. When we find what is the intention, we need to integrate this part, or maybe to decide, okay, this part is not for me. I will push away. I will alienate, assimilate, or alienate the part which is present and which is causing our behavior. And this is the one technique, and also hypnosis. In hypnosis, it is a huge part of NLP. It is one of the three main structures, three pillars of NLP. One pillar is gestalt therapy, which is discussing about awareness and presence in the moment. The other part is family systems from Virginia Satir. It examines how we are related to our family. And the third part is hypnosis. Hypnosis, when they are created, they have they're using language models. We are learning how to use the language. We have meta model and mytho model. It is, I don't want to go more into the techniques, but this is the picture from Freudian model about conscious and unconscious, and we can see how that our mind has a little part which is conscious, but most of our life is unconscious. So we are, during the hypnosis, we are using our conscious mind to tap into the unconscious. The point is that if we see here on the line of the bottom, there is a critical part of us, and this critical part of us is always trying to neglect the information. So during the hypnosis, we are guiding the client to go into the more relaxed state, and then to put some suggestions that will help him during the life. Okay, does anyone have questions up to now? Okay.
Darko, I was just going to have a bit of a comment. Sorry, I was in the middle of eating.
Okay.
When you said the timeline, I have done quite a lot as well on anxiety. And I'm remembering, but I can't produce for you at the moment, a graph where it was your emotional state was the axis on the left, and your body response was the axis on the bottom. And in that graph, there is a rising line up to the 45, so that the effect of anxiety is dependent upon your emotional state. So the higher your emotional state, if you've had trauma, and you mentioned this, but I will try to find the graph and share it. But when you look at it, that your emotional state heightens everything, your bodily response is heightened, and then the middle graph is your thoughts and number of experiences you've had. And the example given to me was that anxiety, it's like a balloon. When we first blow it up, it's okay, it shrinks back down again. If we blow it up again, it doesn't shrink as much, it stays up there. So that if we don't treat it, it eventually stays up in this heightened state. So the balloon stays expanded. And where I found NLP does, it actually takes us back to the prior state and ameliorates all of that experience. because we, as I think Adrian said before, once we can put those experiences back and interchange them and focus on good thoughts, then it's only our mind. The realization happens that anxiety is purely a thinking process in the mind first, and then the body responses are a learned behavior.
Mhm.
And it's that simple. And that's
Yes.
my own experience as well. So I just thought I'd share that. If I can find the graph, I will, but I've just rebuilt computers and everything this weekend. So yeah, but brilliant. What you're doing, I loved that, the Gestalt scale, and that triggered my thought. Yes, it is the timeline of our experiences, but it's also moderated by our emotional state and our body responses, because our body learns the behaviors. Anyhow, that was what I thought I'd just throw in to maybe clarify for some people. Thank you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for sharing. And you gave a great metaphor with the balloon. It's like that. Okay. I want to go deeper in hypnosis. So what else we are learning during the NLP? Okay. In the first version, previous versions of NLP, we are not learning about brain cycles, but it was because it was created, let's say 1970. In first version does not include this, but we are constantly upgrading the NLP process. So we also we are learning about brainwave cycles and how to guide our brainwave cycles for hypnosis using, as I said, a language meta model and Milton model. And so our brain waves, we know that our brain has some frequency, and frequency changing during the time. And when we are using our voice and our words, so we can guide the client into the different relaxed situations. So we are trying to catch up the current state, which is beta. Beta is a conscious. And then going into alpha state. Alpha state is when the client is relaxed, and here we are guiding him to become more relaxed, and then to put some suggestions or to create some change, and then goes theta and delta, which are state when the client is sleeping, but it could happen. But most important is to bring him into the alpha state, so not to be asleep, not to be so conscious to have racing thoughts, but to be just as present in the moment, so he can accept the suggestions. And here is when insights comes, what it needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And now we have also gamma superconscious, which is it is the state when we have a high frequency. It happens when we have like saying flow state. So we are highly focused on doing one thing, and we are only focused on one thing, nothing else. So it is also some bigger state, which is not we cannot achieve so frequently, but it is good to know.
Boom! You made it here! Good on you. Make sure you click the subscribe button below and check out the playlist at the end. If you'd like to come along to our Sunday sessions where we host a live free Q&A for our students and members, you're welcome. I'll see you there.